Welcome back. I'm Shane, this is Relative Time, and today we're talking watch straps. Specifically, we're talking about the Horween Shell Cordovan watch strap from WhatAWatches, which is easily one of the best premium straps I've run across. Now, there's actually a good chance you've seen this strap before, and especially if you're already a subscriber to Dave's channel over at Just the Watch, as he's done a couple of videos now on a rather interesting collaboration between a small watch shop in Korea and Squale. And WhatAWatches is actually that shop. These Shell Cordovan straps were originally introduced for that collaboration, but they've recently decided to start selling them by themselves. And it was actually based on Dave's recommendation that I decided to do this review when WhatAWatches asked if I was interested. He thought they were pretty great, and I wanted to see for myself. So just in case you missed the promotional tag at the beginning, these two watch straps were provided by WhatAWatches, and as far as I know, they're not going to ask for them back. Now, before we really get into these straps, I think the key to understanding them is to understand what makes Horween Shell Cordovan special. And to that end, I'll put some links down below in the description to some people who can explain it a lot better than I can. But the Cliff Notes version is that Shell Cordovan isn't just a higher grade or more expensive tier of calf skin. In fact, it's not calf skin at all, but it's actually a membrane that sits below the exterior layer of a hide on a horse's hip. So because of that, as well as the very extensive 6-month tanning process that Horween uses, their Shell Cordovan has some different properties than your typical calf skin. Primarily, it's really soft to the touch and flexible, yet it's also much more durable than your typical leather. It also requires less maintenance and is also more waterproof, which makes it practically perfect for things like watch straps and shoes. In fact, some people say that a good pair of Shell Cordovan shoes will last you a lifetime. The only trick, because there's always at least one trick, is that because there's not a lot of it on each hide and the lengthy process to make it, is that Shell Cordovan is always going to be a bit more than your typical leather. And that's going to be reflected wherever you find it. Whether it's straps, shoes, wallets, the Shell Cordovan version is always going to be a bit more. But let's move on to the straps themselves. So here we have two, one in cognac and the other in black. These are both 20mm, and they have a pretty aggressive taper going down to 16 before the buckle. They're done in what I refer to as a classic style, where you just have some simple stitching near the watch head, but otherwise it's all about the leather. And Horween's Shell Cordovan is easily some of the best leather in the world. For this strap, WhatAWatches decided to use a single layer with no backing. And normally that would mean a rougher texture on the back of your wrist, but that's not necessarily the case with Shell Cordovan. Both sides here are very smooth and comfortable to the touch. And personally, I like seeing these Horween stamps on the back of the leather. I think it gives it some good character. WhatAWatches actually imports the leather from Horween in Chicago, where they then have a local craftsman in Korea hand make the straps. They also offer a few customization options on their website. They offer straps ranging from 18 to 22, and that does include the elusive 21mm. As well as they ask you what length you'd like, as well as your wrist size, just to make sure everything is right. There's also some interesting options for the buckle. You first have a no buckle option, then you have a standard buckle, and then for an extra $10 you can get these, which is an optional Acier Tropic style buckle. Back in the 60s and 70s, Acier was known for making some great tropic straps, and evidently that style was exactly what WhatAWatches was going for. But outside of pricey new old stock, you can't get these buckles anymore. So they actually found someone to recreate them, and they say they use a conventional style that includes a stonewash finish at the end, and they specifically say there's no CNC work here. Which I think really drives home what WhatAWatches is trying to do with these, and that's to create a true premium strap, where there's nothing mass-produced and really no modern shortcuts taken. Everything here is done in a traditional, time-consuming fashion, which I think a lot of purists would refer to as the right way. So if you're really looking for a strap made by some true artisan and craftsman, that's pretty much what you have here every step of the way. But like we talked about before, that's quality that's going to cost you. And that leads us to talk about a couple of potential negatives about these straps, and we'll do that before we get to what's great about them. And the first thing up is price. As I said before, it's a premium strap, and the price reflects that. These run $129 with no buckle or the standard one. Then if you want that Acier style strap, it's $139. And I think it's worth pointing out that this does include shipping from Korea. So it is pricey, but considering everything, I think that's a price that's justified. And if you shop around online, this is still selling for right around what you'd expect a Horween Shell Cordovan strap to sell for. Which is why I really refer to it as a potential negative. Is this isn't a strap you're going to buy just in case you need an extra one, or you're not going to buy one of these for every single watch in your collection. Rather, at this price, it's really for a specific special watch that you really care about. The second potential negative is with the aesthetics of the strap, because when I saw how thin this thing was, I was a little shocked, as well as a little concerned about how it'd hold up long term. Now, considering Shell Cordovan is more durable, I think it's fine from a build standpoint. But aesthetically speaking, I think it might throw you a little when you look at it. And I think that goes for the narrow buckle on the end. Again, build quality is great, but if you're someone that likes something visually big and sturdy, this isn't it. WhatAWatches was really going for a vintage slim styling, and especially with that taper. And as such, these straps might not look great on particular watches. If you want to put this on a big beefy looking thick diver, maybe like a Seiko Monster, I think it's going to look a little out of place. But put this on something with a slimmer profile and something in the 38 to 40 millimeter range, I think it'll look great. And I think I've shown you some good examples here. Now, as for the positives, there are many, but they all kind of boil down into making the watch strap extremely comfortable to wear. And really, that's the most important thing. The single layer thin profile may look a little bit off, but it's also very smooth to the touch and extremely flexible right from the get-go, which results in practically no break-in period. So combine that texture, flexibility, and aggressive taper, you wind up with a watch strap that's comfortable and securely holds the watch without being overbearing or restrictive in any way. Which also makes me think that as thin as these are and the extra water resistance thanks to the Shell Cordovan, that as far as leather straps go, these could be a good option for summer. Again, at least as far as leather straps go, and I'll be trying these out in a few months. The other big positive here is that they just look good. Other than that monster, I thought they looked fantastic on everything else I put them on. With my favorite combo being the second hour mandala, and that actually surprised me a little bit. Typically, I don't prefer black straps, just because I usually think of black straps as being kind of the standard strap, the default color, so to speak, and typically I kind of find that boring. But here, I think that black paired with the rich blue dial on the mandala just looked great. So bottom line here, these are fantastic straps that look great, and thanks to the Shell Cordovan, they should last you a good while. But they are a premium strap, and the price reflects it. It's not necessarily a negative, just kind of the reality of it. Before these straps ever make it to your wrist, there's a lot of skilled craftsmen and a lot of time putting them together. So if there's a particular watch that's special to you, and you want something to help take it to the next level, then these Shell Cordovan straps would be ones I'd recommend. And personally, I'm looking forward to spending more time with them, just to see how well the Shell Cordovan actually holds up. But in the meantime, let me know down below what you think about these straps. And if you're actually considering buying one, what are you going to buy it for? Also, if you're interested in seeing a longer term report on these down the road, just to see how they've held up, let me know that as well. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Shane, this is Relative Time. See you next time.